the the weather has been unpredictable and para sigurado na tayo on our schedule today. Kaya ginawa ko na lang siyang online. So instead, next week until the end of this prelim class or prelim na term, we will be having face-to-face na. So actually until ngayon makulimlim pa rin. Anyway, but for our quizzes, dalawa lang naman ang magiging coverage. Yung topic natin nung nakaraan at saka yung ngayon. Okay? So anyway, let us start with our topic for today, which is bacterial cell component. Okay? So we're done with taxonomy. You already know how to write the name of the bacteria correctly. And then we've already talked about the introduction. Okay? Now, for the bacterial cell component, so enumerate natin ano-ano yung laman ng bacteria. And then we are going to talk about their composition, what are their functions, and later on, we will be talking about the different staining techniques na commonly or routinely are performed in the laboratory, such as the gram staining and the acid-fast staining. So there are two groups of organisms that you can encounter after staining them with gram stain. We call them gram-positive and then gram-negative. And for the acid-fast staining, we call those that will be stained with as the components as acid-fast and non-acid-fast. Okay? So, i-differentiate natin yun isa-isa kasi that's very important in identifying them. Right. So, let's begin with the one of the most important part of the bacterial cell, and that would be the cell wall. Okay. So, for the cell wall, it is made up of peptidoglycan. Other references, it is called as the murine layer. Okay? So again, the most important composition of the cell wall would be the peptidoglycan and the murine layer. Why? Because this will give the bacterial cell its staining characteristic. So ito yung magiging basis para sa staining characteristic niya, such as being gram-positive or gram-negative. So you try to imagine there are hundreds and thousands of bacteria that are medically important. So for us to identify that, remember I told you in the introduction, how do we identify bacteria? Okay? We identify them by their characteristic. Correct? So, for you to be able to do that, you need to categorize them first. So, let's say for example, kapag nakategorize mo sila as gram-negative, so hindi mo na i-consider yung mga gram-positive. Right? So, magfo-focus ka na lang sa gram-negative. And then from the gram-negative, iisa-isahin mo yon until such time na ma-single out mo yung specific na pathogen sa patient mo or sa specimen mo. Okay? So, kumbaga, gagawin natin, magre-remove tayo ng elimination. Okay? Magre-remove ng mga bacteria na hindi nag-fit doon sa characteristic na nakikita mo. Naintindihan? So, for you to be able to do that, at first, kailangan mo munang tignan yung kanilang staining characteristic. Such as, pag gumamit tayo ng gram stain, okay, that will be defined by the murine layer, gram-negative or gram-positive. So let's talk about we'll further discuss that later, but please do take note of that. For the cell wall, ano pa ba yung mga purpose? Number one, ito rin yung, number two, okay, other than the staining characteristic, no, it will also give the shape. So for the shape, we have cocci, bacilli. When you say cocci, it's spherical. Cocci or coccus. Cocci is plural. Okay? And then bacillus, cocci is plural, coccus singular. Bacilli, plural, bacillus singular. Pag Bacillus, it's rod shape. Okay? And then we also have the spirochetes. Ito ay mga spirals. Spirochetes. So, these are the ones that maintain the shape of bacteria, which also, other than the staining characteristic, we use it as well to identify a certain bacterium. Kasi meron tayong mga group of bacteria na they are coccus, no? Mayroong bacillus at mayroong mga spirochetes. And then, another purpose of the cell wall is that it also maintains the stability of the cell. Ibig sabihin, cell din to kasi guys. So, ibig sabihin, this is prone to lysis because of the osmotic pressure that is available or that is present in the environment. So, because of the cell wall, it can withstand this pressure. So, it maintains the stability of your cell. So, kahit na expose natin yan sa mga mechanical disruption. Halimbawa ng mechanical disruption, even though i-expose natin yan sa pressure kapag ka nagpe-prepare tayo ng bacterial smear, o kaya i-expose mo yan sa heat, hindi po agad mamamatay yung bacteria. Kasi nga, meron muna yan cell wall. Parang mga skin ninyo. Alright? So, bago makapasok yung certain foreign material sa katawan ninyo, meron ka munang layer of protection that is your skin. Same goes with bacteria. Meron silang cell wall to protect themselves from these external factors. Okay? And of course, dahil sila yung nasa labas, dahil cell wall yung nasa labas, it also serves to as a barrier. Okay? And a passage so that yung mga molecules makapasok makapasok at makalabas ng cell. So it can go in and out of the cell. So by the way, another characteristic of bacteria that you need to remember is that they cannot obtain or they cannot make their own food. They cannot synthesize their own food. Therefore, all the nutrients will be coming from the outside of the cell. Therefore, it needs somebody to it needs something to filter out what is coming in and out. Of course, hindi po pwede lahat makapasok. Okay? Because, let's say for example, larger substances can damage the internal component of the cell. So therefore, hindi po basta-basta makakapasok itong mga larger substances na to. Unless otherwise permitted by the barrier itself, which also is facilitated by its cell wall. So ito yung mga purposes ng cell wall. So it maintains the shape, it gives the staining characteristic, it also maintains the stability because it provides strength, no? And then it serves as a barrier. So ayun yung mga certain purposes or function of your cell wall. All right. So let us move on to, or let us further elaborate yung tinutukoy ko kanina na murine layer. So this is the gram-positive and this is the gram-negative bacterial cell wall. So let us differentiate. Sabi natin kanina, ginagamit natin to differentiate, no, group of bacteria, right? So yung nasa kaliwa are gram-positive. Take a look at the murine layer. It is thick, makapal po. And then on the gram-negative, manipis. It is thin. So, what would it entail? Anong ibig sabihin or ano yung magiging effect nun pagdating sa bacterial cell wall? So, when you observe this under the microscope, ang gram-negative, anong kulay? For those who are done with Bacti, what should be the color of gram-positive?
Purple po.
Okay, dapat purple. Very good. And then, ang gram-negative dapat ay, Ito yung
Pink.
correct. Pink
Red.
or red. That's right. So, bakit natin ine-expect na si gram-positive ay purple at si gram-negative ay red? Okay. So, for us to be able to understand that, punta tayo dito sa gram staining technique. So, your gram staining technique has 4 components. So, you have, are you done with your laboratory? Nakapag-gram stain na kayo sa lab?
Yes po.
Okay, tapos na. Tapos na, no? So, you already know this? Hindi pa. Okay, for yung mga hindi pa, okay. Alright. So, hindi pa lahat na meet nakapag-lab dahil ba to sa suspension? Okay, anyway. So, for the information lang po, no? Ano lang natin, elaborate lang natin since kasama naman to talaga sa discussion natin. Alright, so there are 4 components for gram stain. So we have the crystal violet, the grams iodine, the acetone alcohol, and the safranin. So remember, you already prepared your bacterial smear. So in your bacterial smear, you will be needing a slide. Bacterial smear preparation po ito ha. You will be needing your slide and your specimen. So your specimen will be, I'm referring to a direct smear kasi there are 2 types of smear eh. Okay? So there are 2 types of smear, depende kung kailan mo siya pinerform. So we have certain workflow that we follow in the laboratory. So ano ko na lang din, introduce ko sa inyo kasi dapat sa lab ito, specimen collection. At first, you have to, of course, collect your specimen, right? Then, you need to perform direct microscopic examination. Ibig sabihin, eto na yon, gagawa ka ng bacterial smear with the specimen. Okay? And then, you will have to culture it so that for number 4, if you remember yung pinag-usapan natin na micro and macroscopic identification. So you have under the bacterial identification, you have 2 sub-steps. Dito ko isusulat. The macroscopic exam, wherein you're going to look at or observe the colonial morphology. And then microscopic exam, in which magpe-perform ka ulit ng bacterial smear. This time, ang ilalagay na natin sa slide is yung mismong culture. Yung napatubo mo na bacterial colonies. So, parehas yan, i-spread natin. Dito, they call this as direct smear. Okay? Others call it as direct smear. Yes, Mr. Arrollado. May sasabihin?
Wala po, ma'am. Pindot lang po.
Okay. Sige. So, for the direct microscopic exam, your bacterial smear is also known as a direct smear. Direct for the reason that yung mismong specimen, yung i-spread natin on the surface of the slide. On the other hand, in the microscopic examination, no, you will have to spread the culture. But then, parehas yan, lalagyan natin ng gram stain. Why? Because we need to make sure that your bacterial cells will be imparted with color. Lalagyan natin ng kulay kasi ang mga bacteria are colorless. Okay? And then step number 5, we have the biochemical test. And finally, we have your AST. So, after these processes, ma-identify na natin supposedly yung bacteria. Now, for the staining technique, which is the gram stain. Ito yung i-elaborate ko ngayon, okay? So for the gram stain, ang gram stain po ay isang example ng differential stain. Anong ibig sabihin ng differential stain? Meron kang dalawang stains na gagamitin. And you have this decolorizer. And using this, you may be able to identify two groups of bacteria. So, yung isa, malalagyan ng isang stain, and the other one, malalagyan nung another stain. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng differential stain. It can differentiate, kaya nga siya tinawag na differential, because it can differentiate groups of bacteria. In this particular case, sa gram stain, we can identify those that are gram positive and those that are gram negative. So I asked you earlier, ang expected color natin for gram positive ay purple. For gram negative, you told me it's red or pink, right? So paano ba yun nangyayari? Okay, so pag-usapan natin yung component. We have the crystal violet, grams iodine, acetone, alcohol, safranin. So ang gagawin mo guys, para ma-stain yan, if this is the slide, okay, eto yung smear natin, you will have to flood it. Okay? With the primary stain. Okay, of course, before you do this, by the way, kailangan nyo munang i-fix. Okay? Ituturo naman yan sa laboratory after preparing your smear. So halimbawa, nag-dry na po yung smear. You have to pass it through flame. So usually, ang fixation natin can be either done by physical method or chemical. So for the physical method, you will be using heat. Yun yung sabi ko kanina, kung ito yung slide mo, ito yung heat, padadaanan mo sa ilalim. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina na kayang i-maintain ng cell wall yung kaya niyang i-stabilize, no? Even if i-expose natin yan sa mga external forces. Like katulad kanina, yung bacterial cell because of its cell wall. Alright? So, or you can also use methanol or methyl alcohol for fixation. Okay? So you will just have to dip it. I-dip yan sa methyl alcohol or sa methanol. Naintindihan? So after you fix the smear, it's now ready for the staining. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na ifa-flood nyo yung smear with the primary stain. And that's the crystal violet for 1 minute. Then, after flooding it for 1 minute, you will wash it with water, running water. Okay? And then, after washing, you will have to flood it again with grams iodine. So, by the way, ang grams iodine po ay kino-consider natin na more than. Wait lang. Ano ba ang ginagawa natin sa fixation? Okay. For ang purpose ng fixation, fixation is you're trying to make sure that your bacterial cell are fixed on the surface of the slide. Okay? So again, kaya ka nag-fixation at the very beginning is to make sure that your bacterial cell is attached to the surface of the cell, the bacterial cell is attached to the surface of the slide. In short, dapat nakadikit yung cell wall sa surface ng slide. Naintindihan po ba? Para pag nilagyan natin yung crystal violet, remember, meron tayong washing. Right? Pag hindi mo yan finix at the very beginning, the bacterial cell will just be washed out. Do you understand? This is the basic principle of staining. Before you stain something, before you stain anything, you need to fix it first. Now, ano naman yung purpose ng Grams iodine? Yung Grams iodine naman, on the other hand, it also serves as fixative or others call it as mordant. Ina-attach niya naman yung primary stain sa cell wall. Okay? Ulit, yung unang fixation, yung cell wall sa surface ng slide. Ang Grams iodine naman, yung stain sa cell wall naman. Naintindihan? So, para siguradong nakakapit si crystal violet. So, in other words, pag sinabi nating mordant or fixative, it affixes or strengthen the affinity of either the stain or the cell wall. Dito tayo muna sa Grams iodine. Okay, strengthen the affinity of the stain to the bacterial cell wall. Dito naman sa fixation, bacterial cell to the surface of the slide. Okay? Malinaw? Now, after that, may washing ulit. So, tatanggalin natin si Grams iodine. So, after nating matanggal si Grams iodine, lalagyan na natin nung decolorizer. So, ano ang purpose ng decolorizer? So, katulad ng from the word itself, no? It will decolorize, remove the primary stain. You understand? Decolorizer, remove the primary stain. So this is made up of acetone and alcohol. So that is acetone. And then the alcohol we use is 95% ethyl alcohol or ethanol. Parehas lang yon. Malinaw? So, kino-combine yan to serve as decolorizer. So, wala tayong specific na time for this step dahil depende ito sa kapal ng smear mo. Kung makapal yung smear, mas matagal. Kung manipis, mas mabilis. Alright? So, it takes about few seconds. And then, after that, you need to wash it again. So, after you wash it, you now apply the safranin. So, by the way, this is red. Hindi na natin babanggitin kung anong kulay nito ha, kasi ito ay purple or violet. Okay? So, ang kulay na ini-impart ng safranin ay red. So, the same, you need to flood your smear with a secondary or others call this as counter stain for 30 seconds. And then finally, you wash this again. And then, ang mga gram-positive dapat maging purple. Ang mga gram-negative dapat maging red or pink. Bakit? Ano bang pinagkaiba nila? So, babalik ako doon sa ating picture. Napansin, kapag gram-positive, makapal ang peptidoglycan. Right? Pag gram-negative, manipis. So, ano naman? Kapag nag-apply ka, so okay na tayo doon sa Grams sa gram stain, di ba? Vias, tandaan ng Vias. Crystal violet, Grams iodine, acetone alcohol, safranin. Okay, ngayon, once na nag-apply tayo ng crystal violet, ano kaya ang magiging kulay ng gram-positive cell wall? What do you think? Di ba, start lahat yan with being colorless. Magsisimula yan sa pagiging colorless. Pag nag-apply po tayo ng crystal violet, ang kulay ay magiging, of course, purple. Malinaw po ba? That's right. Bakit purple? Kasi nga po ang crystal violet nyo ay purple. Parang ang mga bacteria, guys, para yung blank na canvas. Walang kulay at the very beginning. Kaya nga dapat lalagyan natin ng color or stain para madali nating makita. Understood? Saan pupunta yung crystal violet? Pupunta yan doon sa peptidoglycan. Yun yung tina-target natin, di ba? Sa cell wall. Okay. Si peptidoglycan, malalagyan ng crystal violet. Kaya po magiging purple at the very beginning. Alright, so nag-wash tayo. Nagdagdag tayo ng grams iodine. Ang grams iodine ay hindi stain. It is a mordant. Therefore, even after the application of grams iodine, it will remain purple. Malinaw ba yon? Okay, hindi naman kasi yan stain. Kaya po ang kulay pa rin ay purple. Now, you need to wash it again. This is the most crucial part of the gram staining technique, the application of the decolorizer. So, dito na po papasok yung characteristic ng thick peptidoglycan at saka thin peptidoglycan. So, anong ibig sabihin? Kapag makapal, naglagay tayo ng decolorizer. Question, tingin nyo ba mare-resist o magiging sensitive ang cell wall ng gram-positive? Tandaan, makapal. Therefore, this will resist decolorization. Anong ibig sabihin? Hindi po siya tatablan ng decolorization. Therefore, anong kulay? It will still be purple. Malinaw? But look at the gram-negative cell wall. Thin ang peptidoglycan niya. Kaya ito, on the other hand, magiging sensitive sa decolorization. Naintindihan po ba? Kaya, babalik siya sa original color niya na colorless. Malinaw po ba yon? Natanggal yung primary stain natin. Kasi nga, manipis yung cell wall. I mean, manipis yung peptidoglycan, rather. Okay. Now, pag naglagay ka ng safranin, diba, parang mga, like ko tong kino-compare sa mga relationship. Kapag meron na, diba, kahit may dumating na bago, kung ikaw ay loyal, yan dapat yung hanapin ninyo. Purple. Malinaw po ba? It will remain purple. Do you understand? Even if you applied another stain, hindi na po yan i-accommodate ng peptidoglycan. Bakit? Meron na kasing stain yung peptidoglycan mo or yung cell wall mo. And that's the crystal violet. So even though safranin is applied to again, it will resist the safranin. You understand? Okay, and then, for the gram-negative, kasi nga, bumalik siya sa pagiging colorless. So once na naglagay tayo dyan ng another na stain, that's the time na magiging red or pink siya. Naintindihan? Pink or, meron pa ba? Wala na. Pink or red. Malinaw po ba yon? Okay. So parang ganito lang din yan. So after applying the crystal violet, so this is gram-positive, this is gram-negative, this is another depiction of the process. So after application of the crystal violet, violet siya, nagdagdag ka ng iodine, violet pa rin. Pag nagdagdag ka na ng decolorizer natin, this is the decolorizer, acetone alcohol, look at the gram-negative, nagiging colorless. So once you apply safranin, it will be red. Wherein, as you can see, for the gram-positive, all, no, the process, it will remain purple. So, okay na tayo sa murine layer. Okay. Now, going back, okay na ba to? Sorry, na ano ko na. Sige po, pakikopya muna. Okay na rin tayo din sa kabila. Okay. So, by the way, ito yung expected na itsura ng gram-positive at gram-negative. Yung nasa kanan, purple, yung nasa kaliwa, red. Gram-negative, gram-positive. Yan yung ina-expect natin na makita under. And by the way, kapag gram-positive yung bacteria, makikita mo talaga entirely puro purple. Hindi pwedeng may purple, hindi pwedeng may red. Hindi pwedeng magko-combine yon. Lalong-lalo na if you are looking into one bacteria lang or one bacterium rather. I mean, kung pure na yung colony mo, dapat isang kulay lang. Paano ma'am kung naging dalawa? Okay. Ang tawag natin doon ay gram variability. So, etong example nun. Nakita nyo, may purple, tapos may kulay pula. May purple, may pula. Okay? So, anong tawag dyan? That's called gram variability. And these are characteristic only of gram-positive bacteria. Ang ibig pong sabihin, sila lang yung maaaring maging gram variable. Okay? May mga natural, may mga acquired. Pag sinabi nating natural, naturally, walang external factors, they are gram variable talaga. Okay? So halimbawa, si Mobilincus at saka si Gardnerella vaginalis. So, by the way, etong SPP na to, kailangan hindi to naka-italicize ha. So, dapat hindi siya naka-italicize. And then, Gardnerella vaginalis is also another organism. Natural talaga yan. Then, pwedeng acquired. Sa mga gram-positive lang to nangyayari. Halimbawa, gumamit ka ng old culture. So let's say this is more than 24 hours na incubation na. Kasi ang standard incubation period natin, for bacterial growth to ha, para mapatubo natin yung bacteria. So that is only 18 to 24 hours. Beyond 18 to 24 hours, no? So, pwede na natin makonsider yan as an old culture. Or 48 hours, no, 72 hours, that's already considered as old culture. Okay? Ano, nagagawa? What do you mean nagagawa? Nangyayari ba talaga ito gram variable? Is that what you mean?
Opo.
Oo naman.
Kumbaga yung ano po, yung ganito. Okay.
Nangyayari to talaga kasi hindi mo maiiwasan na minsan masyadong, halimbawa, uulitin mo yung gram stain ng isang bacterial isolate. So, wala kang choice kundi gumamit ng old culture. Kasi kung magpapatubo ka niyan, it would take another 18 to 24 hours para patubuin ulit yung bacteria. So, pwede itong mangyari. Okay, another is pH. So, alam niyo naman ang concept natin sa staining, di ba? Anong concept natin sa staining? Di ba, ang acidic na stain, ang target niyan, basic component of the cell. Right? Kapag alkaline or basic, alkaline stain or basic na stain, ang target naman nito is yung acidic component of the cell. So, kumbaga, opposite. Right? So, imagine kung nagbago yung pH ng stain mo. Originally, halimbawa, acidic siya. Pero dahil hindi tama yung storage mo nung stain, nilagay mo sa ref. Dapat sa room temperature lang. So, maaaring magbago yung pH. So, instead na acidic, nagiging basic. So, instead na ang original na target niya ay basic component, dahil naging basic siya, ang matatarget niya na acidic component. So, magbabaliktad. Naintindihan po ba? So, that's another contributing factor kung bakit nagkakaroon ng gram variability. And then, bacterial autolysis. May mga capability yung mga bacteria na ma-autolyze. Okay, pag sinabi nating autolyze, after 24 hours or after a specific time, yung cell talagang dahil dun sa, meron siya kasing mga enzyme na responsible for lysis of its own bacterial cell. Okay? So, dahil dun, nawawala na yung cell wall, syempre. At dahil nawala na yung cell wall because of bacterial autolysis, magiging gram variable na din yung bacteria. And then, of course, kailangan sundin natin yung staining reaction time. Pag sinabi ng reagent mo na 1 minute, you need to make sure that you follow that. Kung sinabing 30 seconds, dapat 30 seconds lang. Naintindihan po ba? So all of these factors can affect the gram variability, the possibility of gram variability for your bacteria. Naintindihan? Okay. So, punta tayo dito sa guiding rules ng gram stain reaction. Tandaan niyo, lahat ng koksay, puro mga gram positive yan. Except for never mind. Yun po yung mnemonics na hanggang ngayon ginagamit ko para matandaan kung sino yung mga gram negative koksay. Di ba nga, karamihan ng gram positive koksay dapat gram positive? I mean, karamihan ng koksay should be gram positive. So, ibig sabihin, si Neisseria, si Moraxella, and Veillonella are gram negative koksay. By the way, Moraxella, in other references, these are known as Branhamella. Kasi nagkaroon na ng bagong taxonomy dito, bagong nomenclature. Ibig sabihin, bagong pangalan. So, but still in other references, Moraxella pa rin siya. So, either Moraxella or Branhamella will do. Okay? So, never mind. Neisseria, Veillonella, Moraxella. Exemption yon. And then, lahat naman ng bacilli, yung mga rod shape, ay mga gram negative. Of course, there are exemption. Ang mnemonic naman na tinatandaan ko for this one is my bell crack. My Mycobacterium, B is Bacillus, E is Erysipelotrix, L Listeria, another L is Lactobacillus, C Coraine, R is Rhotia, A is Actinomyces, another C is Clostridium, and the K is Courtia. So, andyan po lahat yan. Nakaspecify dyan. Ibig sabihin, ano tong may bell crack? Ito ay mga gram positive bacilli. Malinaw? Okay, paki-memorize yan ha. Next, another one. Si Mycoplasma and Ureaplasma, ito ay mga bacteria na walang cell wall. Pero, pag nilagyan natin sila ng gram stain, they usually demonstrate gram-negative reaction. Hindi dahil gram-negative sila, pero kasi wala silang cell wall. Okay? Next, ang mga spirochetes naman, ito yung mga spirochetes, yung mga spiral, no? Mahirap silang lagyan ng stain. Pero, kung malalagyan sila ng gram stain, they are gram-negative. Malinaw? Si Mycobacterium at Nocardia, ito yung mga tinatawag natin na mga acid-fast. Okay? Bacteria. So, mamaya, ang acid-fast bacteria, iba ang component nila with the ordinary bacteria. Di ba? Halimbawa, ito. Balikan ko lang yung ating picture, no? Okay. Di ba? Ito yung normal na structure ng cell wall ng ordinary bacteria. Okay? Ngayon, pag sinabi natin na pwede nating i-classify as gram-positive or gram-negative, naintindihan po ba? Okay, ngayon, pag sinabi mo namang acid-fast, yung bacteria, hindi po ganito yung normal na structure. Ibig sabihin, mas mataas po ang lipid content niya. Pag acid-fast ganito lang din siya, except that mas marami ang lipid content nila. Naintindihan po ba? Kaya, pag nilagyan mo sila ng gram stain, mahirap ma-penetrate. Kasi makapal yung lipid content. So, hindi po gram stain normally ang ginagamit natin for acid-fast bacteria. Instead, we're going to use acid-fast stain. Malinaw po ba yon? O baka malito. Ito yung ordinary na structure ng cell wall ng bacteria na pwede nating i-categorize as gram-positive or gram-negative. Ganito din yung sa acid-fast except that makapal ang lipid. Naintindihan? Kaya, paglalagyan natin sila ng gram stain, nahihirapan yung ordinary dye na i-penetrate. Kasi nga, ang term natin doon, waxy. Okay? Waxy ang cell wall. So, anong ginagawa? Sa acid-fast staining, on the other hand, katulad dito, iba ang component ng mga stain na ginagamit natin doon. So, mamaya, we'll talk about that. But, for now, muna, dito tayo muna kay Mycobacterium aethnocardia. Ito ay mga example ng acid-fast. Kapag nilagyan natin ng mga acid-fast bacteria ng, tawag dito, gram stain, so sabi mo nga kanina, ma'am, di ba, hindi or nahihirapan. Hindi naman sa hindi pwede, pero nahihirapan yung gram stain. So, kung malalagyan man sila, if there will be a possibility that they could be stained by gram stain, they will appear as gram positive. Okay? They will appear as gram positive. Malinaw po ba? Bakit hindi makakapasok ang gram stain? Ulitin ko lang, 60% ng cell wall is made up of lipid. Okay. Ang lipid, di ba, ang mga fatty acids ang co-consist niyan, di ba, according to your biochem? Ang lipids, meron kang mga fatty acids. Same goes with protein, di ba, may mga amino acid, right? So, ang lipids, may mga fatty acid. And one of the most common fatty acid that is present dito sa cell wall nila, yung tinatawag nating mycolic acid. Ito yung pinakamarami na fatty acid, si mycolic acid, sa cell wall ng mga acid-fast bacteria. Naintindihan? Okay. Alright, so mamaya, babalikan natin yan. Okay. Punta muna tayo dito sa other characteristic ng gram-positive. Okay. At gram-negative. Balikan ko to ha. Alright, so for other differences, ano pa ba ang pwede nating makita na difference ng gram-positive at gram-negative? So kung papansinin mo, yung periplasmic space. Okay, and makikita lang natin si periplasmic space dito kay gram-negative. Okay? Para saan ang periplasmic space? So, the periplasmic space is actually a, ano ba ang tawag dito? Gel-like, okay? Substance or gel-like, gel-like substance na lang gamitin natin. Gel-like substance which has two functions. Dalawa po ang purpose niyan. Una, it is capturing nutrient from the environment. It captures nutrients from the environment. So remember I told you earlier, kaya ba gumawa ng pagkain ng bacteria? Kaya ba niyang gumawa ng pagkain, Mr. Tanedo? Can it synthesize its own food?
No po, ma'am.
Correct. Kasi nga po, sabit natin kanina, para makakain ng mga bacteria, yung mga pagkain or nutrient nang gagaling sa labas. Right? Kaya nga, meron tayong barrier na cell wall para maging passage at maging barrier netong mga nutrient na to. So, thank you. Hindi po nakakagawa. Therefore, kailangan kapag ka may available na nutrient dyan sa environment, no, kukunin niya na yan. Right? Pag available yung nutrient, halimbawa, may nakita siyang glucose, may nakita siyang lactose, no? May nakita siyang inorganic substances. So, kukunin niya na yon. And for gram-negative, this is one of the area where they can capture and store it. Okay? And then, another function of your periplasmic space is that this is actually consisting of, other than the nutrient, it also consists of degradative enzymes. Degradative enzymes. Okay. Ano naman yung degradative enzymes na yan? Naalala ninyo yung infection last week. So of course, dapat nakapag-aral na kayo. Para mangyari ang infection, kailangan mangyari muna ang entry. Diba? And after ng entry? Invasion. Pag na-invade na nung host, pag na-invade na nung bacteria yung host, magmumultiply. That's right. After magmultiply, tsaka pa lang siya magkukos ng tissue injury. And then, tsaka pa lang magkukos ng disease. Remember? So why is this discussed here? Kasi I would just like to point out, kapag gram-negative ang bacteria, mabilis ang entry at invasion. Kumbaga, this will be expedite. Bakit? Kasi, etong degradative enzymes na to, tutulungan niya yung bacteriang mapabilis yung invasion niya. So, di ba, naalala ninyo, na-discuss natin, kapag pumasok ang foreign, katulad ng bacteria sa katawan natin, may soldier muna na haharap dyan. Di ba? Halimbawa, meron tayo sa skin, meron tayo sa mucous membrane, meron tayong immune system, specific at saka non-specific. So kapag may mga degradative enzyme siya, from the word itself, pag sinabi mong degradative, degrade. So, pwede niya po yun gamitin na parang, weapon niya, no? Para matalo agad yung immune system ng host. So, mabilis yung entry. Kaya, kung i-compare ninyo, kung sino ang unang magpo-produce ng outcome, that would be gram-negative. So halimbawa, in terms of fever ng caused by a gram-positive bacteria and fever caused by a gram-negative bacteria, pwedeng mangyari 3 days pa ang gram-positive. Sa gram-negative, a day or 2 lang, makakapag-elicit agad yan ng outcome. May magkaka-fever na agad yung pasyente dyan. Nagigets po ba? Kasi mabilis tong process ng infection nila. Dahil nga sa degradative enzymes. Ulitin ko, mas mabilis ang outcome kapag gram-negative compared sa gram-positive. Dahil nga dito sa periplasmic space. Malinaw ba yon? Okay, another thing. So, one is anong difference? One is the murine layer. Another one is the periplasmic space that is commonly found only in gram-negative. Another is, yung gram-negative mo, nakita nyo to, meron siyang dalawang phospholipid bilayer. Sa gram-positive, isa lang. Right? So, ibig sabihin, meron tong outer at meron siyang inner membrane. Okay, outer membrane. Okay, look at the outer membrane. Ano ang composition? Number 1, meron po siyang lipopolysaccharide. Ito yon. Outer to ha. Ano pa? Merong protein or porine. Porine is an example of protein. Okay? Where para siyang gate. Yung porine, parang gate. Pagka may papasok, di ba sabi nga natin kanina, cell wall is a barrier. Cell wall, para siyang nag-filter ng malalaking substances. Right? So, ang ginagawa ng porine, pag pwedeng pumasok, mag-o-open yan. Pag hindi, naka-close lang yan. Naintindihan? So, yung protein na yan, it is a channel for the passage of substances from outside to inside. And even from inside to outside. Passage yan, balikan. Okay. And then, number 3, of course, anong tawag mo dito sa layer na to? This is the phospholipid bilayer. So, tatlo ang makikita natin ha. Lipopolysaccharide, protein, and phospholipid bilayer. Ano naman yung makikita natin sa inner membrane? So, ano bang nandito? Meron kang peptidoglycan. Dito ko isulat yung sa inner ha. So, 1, peptidoglycan. What else? Merong periplasmic space. Merong protein. Okay, eto. Nakikita nyo na yan. Those are embedded proteins. And then, of course, may phospholipid din. Okay? So, yun po yung tatlong difference ng gram-negative at gram-positive cell wall. Una, murin layer. Makapal, gram-positive, manipis, gram-negative. Pangalawa, periplasmic space na makikita lang natin sa gram-negative. At pangatlo, meron pong dalawang membrane ang cell wall ng gram-negative. May inner at may outer. So please take a look at it and remember the components of the inner and the outer. May tanong po ba regarding this topic or regarding this slide? Before we move on to other character, hindi pa tayo tapos sa gram-positive at gram-negative. Wala? By the way, balik ko lang dito. Ang cell wall ng mga bacteria, wala pong sterol ha. Ang sterol, this is only found in eukaryotic cells. Okay? Sa eukaryotic cell lang po natin yan nakikita. Okay na? Sige. So, let us proceed to the gram-positive. E-elaborate pa natin. Other than the thick peptidoglycan na meron siya, what else are components that are important in the bacterial process? So, one is teichoic acid. The teichoic acid will actually provide rigidity to the cell, bacterial cell. This is by attracting ions such as magnesium and then calcium. So, etong dalawang ions na to, the magnesium and the calcium is the one responsible kung bakit rigid yung cell wall ng bacteria. Okay? Hindi siya flexible ibig sabihin, hindi po pwede na mag-change siya agad-agad ng shape. No. Because it's rigid, it will maintain its shape. Kung koksay-koksay siya. Okay? And then lipoteichoic acid is, ang dalawa naman yung purpose ng lipoteichoic acid natin. The lipoteichoic acid, naalala nyo kanina yung sinabi kong autolytic enzymes? Ito yung nagre-regulate nun. Example, kay Streptococcus pneumoniae. Yan. Ang nagre-regulate ng autolytic enzyme niya ay ang lipoteichoic acid niya. Okay? And also, another thing, for the lipoteichoic acid, it also provides the antigenic properties. Paano ba natin sabihin yun? Regulates or provides Right. Provides antigenic properties. So, para saan itong antigenic properties na to? This is to stimulate the immune response of the host. Naalala niyo yung immune response? Di ba merong specific at saka non-specific. So, para ma-stimulate yung mga phagocyte, para ma-stimulate yung inflammation, yung antibody production, yung mga gram-positive, meron silang lipoteichoic acid. Malinaw? Like for example, for your Streptococcus pneumoniae, again, other than having autolytic enzyme, meron din siyang antibody. Okay? Na kayang i-stimulate. Okay, bigyan ko kayo ng example. Si Streptococcus pyogenes. Okay? Si Streptococcus pyogenes, meron siyang kaya niyang i-stimulate. So, ang meron to ay SLO. Streptolysine O. And yung antibody na kayang i-produce or i-stimulate niya sa host ay tinatawag na anti-streptolysine O. Okay? Ito yung antibody na kayang i-stimulate or kayang i-produce ng katawan natin against the streptolysine O. Okay? Anyway, example pa lang naman yan. Anyway, pag-uusapan pa naman natin yan in the near future, no? Sa midterm. Okay na po ba to? Let us move on. Gram-negative naman, i-review lang natin. Again, ang peptidoglycan ay thin, may periplasmic space. Ito yung components ng outer membrane. So, protein or also porine, phospholipid, lipopolysaccharide. Yung inner, ano nga ulit ang component? Membrane. Ito, diba? This is number 1, this is number 2. Number 3, phospholipid. And then number 4, protein. Okay, for the inner membrane. So, ito yung sa outer. Ito yung sa inner. So, ito rin yung purpose ng gram-negative cell wall. Parehas lang yan. Barrier, sieve, and attachment site. Okay? Next tayo. May tanong po ba kayo sa gram stain? Difference ng gram-positive at gram-negative? Yes? Jim?
Ma'am, pwede po pabalik dun sa gram-negative cell wall.
Ay,
Screenshot
sorry.
ko lang po. Hindi ko po natapos yung lecture. Thank you po.
Okay, okay. Eto ba?
Opo.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Alright. Umuulan pa ba? Okay na. Umuulan pa ba sa Valenzuela ngayon?
Hindi na po.
Ay, hindi na. Okay. Yan yun na. Next week na lang. Okay, so let's proceed to acid fast. So, anong sabi natin kanina sa acid fast? Different siya sa ordinary na bacterial cell wall. Bakit? Tulad ng sabi natin, waxy. 60% of the cell wall is made up of lipids, specifically yung fatty acid na mycolic acid. So, etong mycolic acid, etong waxy cell wall, ayan yung nagre-resist, no? Doon sa ordinary na stain. That's why we need to use another stain or another staining technique, which ang tawag natin is acid-fast staining. So, by the way, dalawa po ang type ng acid-fast. Meron tayong hot at merong cold. Okay. For the hot method muna tayo. Ito yung component. FAM. Carbol-fusin, heat, acid alcohol, methylene blue, or malachite green. So, in this case, or in this technique, gagamit po tayo ng heat. So, ibig sabihin, going back to this picture, nakita ninyo, di ba nag-apply kayo ng carbol-fusin. By the way, carbol-fusin is red. For a while lang ha. Ang carbol-fusin ay red. So nakita nyo to, nag-apply tayo ng heat dito. But again, pwedeng kung ito yung inyong slide, diretso yung flame sa ilalim. Pwede yon. Okay? For a couple of minutes. And then after that, meron ditong washing. Dito ang washing ha, hindi po after ng carbol-fusin, iwawash. Hindi. So after application of the carbol-fusin, you apply directly heat without washing. And then after that, apply tayo ng decolorizer. This time is an acid alcohol. And after that, wash it again. Apply the secondary stain or the counter stain wherein you can use methylene blue or malachite green. Malinaw? Okay. And then wash it again. So let's talk about the principle. Okay na to? Let's move on to the principle. Okay. Punta tayo dito. So carbol-fusin will be your primary stain. And then the methylene blue will serve as your counter stain or decolorizer. Okay. Ngayon, look at the counter stain or the secondary stain. Pag-usapan natin yung decolorizer. Anong acid po ito? Okay, syempre, yung alcohol is 95% ethanol pa rin. But what about the acid alcohol? You will be using 3% HCl or hydrochloric acid in 95% ethanol. So, i-combine nyo po yan. Malinaw po ba? So, it is different with the decolorizer of your gram stain. Sa gram stain, acetone ang i-minimix natin with the ethyl alcohol. Okay? Next. So, what will happen? Again, at first, dapat colorless. Hindi ba? Colorless. So, after the application of carbol-fusin, ano kaya ang kulay ng cell wall? So, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, ito po ay kulay pula. Kaya once na in-apply natin yan, whether acid or non-acid fast, they will become red. Walang washing na nangyari, mag-a-apply lang tayo ng heat. Anong purpose ng heat? Okay, remember, the cell wall is waxy, right? So this serves to penetrate the cell wall that is waxy. So, kumbaga parang tutunawin niya yung waxy part ng cell wall so the carbol-fusin can penetrate. And other than that, after penetrating, this will also serve as the mordant. Heat will also serve as mordant. So, kumbaga, pagkatapos ng papasukin si carbol-fusin, si heat ha, yung mismong heat, siya na yung magiging mordant. Siya na yung mag-a-affix doon sa stain sa cell wall ng bacteria. Kaya kahit lagyan mo yan ng decolorizer, the acid fast will remain red. Okay? So this will resist decolorization. Bakit? Kasi po, mataas ang mycolic acid content niya, 'di ba? So, ibig sabihin na penetrate na fix na natin yung stain, which is carbolfusin, sa cell wall ng gram-negative. So, hindi na po yan ma-decolorize. Pero kasi, etong non-acid fast, bakit siya naging colorless? Naging susceptible siya. Ano bang ginamit natin kanina? Susceptible or sensitive? Sensitive ba dun sa gram stain? Para isang word lang ang gamit natin. Sensitive?
Sensitive
Okay.
po.
Sensitive to decolorization. Bakit sensitive? Kasi nga po, wala naman siyang mycolic acid. Naintindihan? Hindi po, ibig sabihin, ito waxy. Ito, hindi rin ito waxy. Kaya, pag nilagyan natin ang acid alcohol, it will be sensitive to decolorization. That's why when you apply methylene blue or malachite green, this will remain red, yung acid fast. And then ang acid fast, kung ang in-apply mo methylene blue, blue. Kung inalagay mo malachite green, edi green. Malinaw ba yun? So, similar concept with the gram stain. I mean, similar principle with the gram stain. Do you understand? Okay na to. Pero dito, ang dahilan, bakit siya pula? Dahil nga doon sa waxy na component. Sa gram stain naman, bakit siya purple? Dahil doon sa makapal na peptidoglycan. Kaya dapat, pag nag-gram stain ka, eto dapat yung expected mong kulay. Okay na ba to bago ko ilipat? Okay. So, eto dapat yung ine-expect natin. Eto po. Nakita niyo yung mga kulay pula na yan? These are acid-fast bacteria. So, ayan, yung mga kulay pula, ayan yun. Bakit, ma'am? Ano tong mga blue na to? Ito yung mga non-acid fast. Bakit po may non-acid fast dyan? Ito ay mga cells, blood cells. Kasi kadalasan natin ina-apply ang acid fast sa direct smear. Okay? Kadalasan po sa sputum. Diretso. So, ang sputum kasi, ito yung mga normal flora. Okay? So, yung mga normal flora natin sa katawan or sa respiratory tract, they are non-acid fast. So, kung yung sputum ng patient, meron talagang kadalasan naman Mycobacterium tuberculosis ang ine-expect natin dyan. Makikita mo yung mga blood cells na yan. Kasi, diretso, naalala kanina yung sinabi natin direct smear, yung mismong specimen, yung ini-spread natin. Pero kung katulad nito guys, this is already bacterial smear na pure yung colony na ginamit mo. So as you can see, these are the non-acid fast. So ano bang kulay? 'Di ba kulay blue? Ayan, mga non-acid fast yan. So pinaplayan na natin yan ng carbolfusin. Okay, natapos na natin yung process, but at the end of the staining process, it remained blue. So that's non-acid fast. Malinaw tayo sa acid fast at non-acid fast? Okay. Sige po, proceed tayo. Okay. Punta naman tayo sa cold. 'Di ba kanina, yung Ziehl-Neelsen, that is the hot method. Then we have another method which is known naman as the cold one kasi hindi po tayo gumagamit ng heat. So paano yun, ma'am? Walang heat. So walang magpe-penetrate. Hindi na natin kailangan i-penetrate. I mean, hindi na po natin kailangan ng heat kasi yung primary stain, which is yung carbolfusin, mataas na yung phenol content niya. So, eto na ngayon yung magpe-penetrate. penetrate the waxy cell wall. Di ba kanina ang nag-penetrate si heat? So ito, on this process, ang magpe-penetrate. Paano na ngayon, ma'am, yung more than? So meron tayo ditong separate na more than. It's actually a chemical agent which is known as tergitol. So this is the more than. Parehas pa rin ang stain. Dalawa pa rin. Ang primary stain natin is carbolfusin. Ang secondary stain natin still ay either methylene blue or malachite green. So parehas lang actually ang proseso. Except that, etong carbolfusin na to, mas mataas ang phenol content niya. Kaya hindi na necessary ang paggamit ng heat. Alright? So to show you the differences, eto po. So we have here, ang mordant mo ay heat pa rin. Diba? Siya na yung nag-penetrate. Siya rin yung ating mordant. Pero dito sa Kinyon method, ang nag-penetrate ay nasa carbolfusin. Diba? Ang nag-penetrate, ang reason doon, yung mataas na phenol concentration na makikita sa carbolfusin. Tapos look, iba pa rin yung gagamitin natin na mordant, which is tergitol. And by the way, magkaiba ang acid na ginamit. Dito ay hydrochloric, dito sa Kinyon ay sulfuric. Okay? 3% sulfuric acid in 95% ethanol. Or you can modify it. Pwede kang gumamit ng 0.5% HCl in 95% ethanol. Pwede rin yon. Pwede mong babaan na lang yung HCl mo, no? 2.5. And then you add it or mix it with your 95% ethanol. Pwede po yon for Kinyon. Malinaw po ba tayo with the acid-fast staining? Any question with the cell wall? O diba, cell wall lang yung napag-usapan natin pero inabot tayo ng 1.5 hour. Okay na tayo doon? May tanong po ba? Clarification or question? Okay, sure. Alright, so plasma membrane, ito na pala, no? Plasma membrane, this is same purpose with the cell wall. Except that, of course, okay? Wala po itong peptidoglycan. Okay? So, wala po itong sterol. Ang may sterol na mga bacteria pa rin itong mga to ha. These are still bacteria. Mycoplasma and ureaplasma. Okay? Wala silang sterol. Pero yung mga plasma membrane nila, same ng component ng ibang bacteria. Except that, sorry. Ito palang mga bacteria na to, kabaliktaran, ito yung may mga sterol, rather, sa cell wall. Bacteria to na may sterol sa kanilang plasma membrane. Okay, so parehas lang din to ng purpose with the cell wall. So it separates the, kumbaga parang hati between the internal and the external environment, barrier, electron transport chain. By the way, nalimutan ko tong sabihin kanina. Remember, bacteria doesn't have mitochondria. 'Di ba? Wala silang mitochondria. So, how do they generate energy? This is one. They generate their energy via their plasma membrane. Paano yun? Diba? Ito yung plasma membrane. Diba? Labas-masok yung mga substances. Because of that, especially yung mga ions na pumapasok at lumalabas dyan, nagja-generate po yun ng ATP. So, ito yung isa sa nagiging source ng energy ng bacteria. Though walang mitochondria. The plasma membrane. Okay? So, okay na yan. Next tayo, let's proceed to the mesosome. Remember, I told you, walang nuclear membrane ang bacteria. Right? Kaya po, mahirap hanapin yung ating nucleoid region. So, paano natin makikita si nucleoid region? Usually, the nucleoid region is near the mesosome. Okay, this is the mesosome. So, if you want to detect the nucleoid region that is containing the DNA of the bacteria, you look for the mesosome. The mesosome is an invagination in the plasma membrane. Okay? So, nakita nyo to, ito yung plasma membrane natin, ito yung invagination, malapit sa kanya yung nucleoid region. So, if you want to detect the nucleoid region, you have to look for the mesosome. Okay? And then, for the ribosome, alam natin yan, protein synthesis. Free lang ang meron, ha? Wala siyang bound. Kasi wala namang endoplasmic reticulum ang mga bacteria. Okay? And then, inclusion bodies, by the way, other than the periplasmic space, di ba? Paano yung iba, ma'am? Saan sila nagde-deposit ng kanilang nutrient? Halimbawa, ang mga Mycobacterium tuberculosis, they have their match granule. Ang Corynebacterium diphtheriae, volutin, Babes urns, or metachromatic granule. Doon nila ini-store yung kanilang mga nutrients. So, these are called as inclusion bodies. Tapos, yung Yersinia pestis naman, meron siyang bipolar bodies. Okay? So, dito po, isinisiksik ng mga bacteria yung excess na nutrient. Usually, ito ay nagpe-precipitate, nag-accumulate in the form of inclusion body so that kapag kailangan nila, may source sila ng pagkain. Okay? So, ito yung mga example. Meron pang isang bipolar, pero granules naman. Okay? And these are usually sa mga Bordetella. Yan. Bordetella naman natin makikita yan. Okay? Bipolar granules. And ang kulay ng stain nito, baka malito kayo, toluidine. Blue. Used to stain bipolar granule. Kasi nakakalito yan. Bipolar body, bipolar granule. Magkaiba. Nakita nyo to, methylene blue, tapos ito toluidine blue. So, i-separate na natin ngayon pa lang. Para pag na-encounter ulit natin sila Bordetella, sila Yersinia, familiar na kayo. Okay? Sige. So, let's proceed with the bacterial spores. So, ang bacterial spore, na-mention ko na sa inyo to kanina, previously, di ba? Kapag in-expose mo ang bacteria sa extreme condition, nag-hibernate siya. Diba? Ito nga yung drawing ko nun eh. Kapag in-expose mo siya sa extreme condition, nagfo-form siya ng spore. So, it used the spore to hibernate so that they can survive in the unfavorable condition. Naintindihan? So, this is made up of calcium and dipicolinic acid. Okay? Calcium and dipicolinic acid. So that, ang nakikita natin sa mga references, pinagko-combine si calcium at saka si dipicolinic acid. Kaya siya nagiging calcium dipicolinate or calcium dipicolinic acid complex. Kasi ito yung dalawang main component ng spore. Calcium and dipicolinic acid. Okay? Once you combine it, calcium dipicolinate ang tawag or calcium dipicolinic acid complex. So again, ang mga spores or endospores ay it serves as virulence factor. Right? Remember, virulence factor yan ng mga bacteria. Okay. Di ba may dalawa tayong spore-forming bacteria? Ano nga yun? The B and the C. Right? Ano yung dalawang spore-forming bacteria? Ibig sabihin sila lang yung nagpo-produce ng spore sa lahat ng pag-uusapan nating mga bacteria. Letter B stands for Bacillus. What about the C? Clostridium. Okay, very good. Tanda. Nag-review na pala kayo. Dapat pala nag-quiz na tayo today, no? Okay. For the pili, on the other hand, may dalawa kasing projection ng bacteria. Okay, so halimbawa, this is the bacteria. May short at may long. Yung long, si flagellum yon. Yung short, ito yung pilus na tinatawag or fimbriae. Okay? So this is shorter and thinner compared to flagellum. And mostly, nakikita to sa mga gram-negative. So, pilin naman yung tawag dun sa protein ng pili or pilus. Okay? And then, there are two types of pili or pilus or fimbriae. Common, somatic, ordinary, sex, fertility, or F. pilus. Pag sinabi mong ordinary, it is used only for attachment. I'll repeat, attachment. Nakita po to, adherence. Attachment. So, kanino mag-a-attach? Another bacteria, pwedeng sa host, or sa mga environmental surfaces. Ang F. pilus, on the other hand, it is used for bacterial conjugation. Bacterial conjugation is DNA exchange. Bacterial DNA exchange. Sorry, charge ko lang yung pen. Ilagay ko na lang sa chat box. Bacterial DNA exchange. Okay, that's bacterial conjugation. So, kumbaga, ito yung dalawang pilay ng bacteria, they will join together. Tapos, through that pili, or through that pilus, one bacteria and another bacteria will exchange their DNA components or DNA contents. Okay? Or ang tawag dito ng iba, ano pa ba yung ibang term natin? Chromosomal exchange. Same lang din yon, chromosomal exchange. That's also the same. Okay, next, flagella. So, of course, alam nyo kung para saan to, di ba? For motility. By the way, may mga motile at non-motile na bacteria. Ibig sabihin, pag non-motile, walang flagella. Pag motile, meron. And there are different types of flagella. Okay? And for the composition, flagellin. Tapos, meron din po itong antigenic content or antigenic property. May mga flagella na may H antigen. Halimbawa, yung mga Enterobacteriaceae like Salmonella, meron po silang mga antigenic property sa flagella, and that is the H antigen or Hoch antigen. Okay? This is the composition, flagellin. And eto naman yung iba't ibang type ng flagella natin. Okay? Mono, isa. Atri, wala. A kasi it means absence, right? Monotrichus, isa lang po. Or also known as polar. Okay? Polar. In other references, Monotrichus is also known as polar. Okay? And then, Amphitrichus is also known, you have two flagella at each end of the pole. So, isang flagella at one pole, you have a single flagella, but there are two poles, right? This is Cephalotrichus. You have multiple flagella, both ends. At meron ding Lophotrichus, multiple, pero sa isang polar end lang. And then, Peritrichus ang tawag doon sa iba't ibang parts ng bacterial cell na merong multiple din na flagella. Okay? So those are the different types of flagella. So depende po yan sa bacteria. Naririnig ba ako? I mean, may nagtatanong kasi kung may sound ba? Naririnig
Yes po.
naman ako. Okay. Alright. Sige. Miss Resuman, maybe you can, okay. And then, we have glycocalyx. Glycocalyx is an exterior high molecular weight appendage or structure of a bacteria. It's made up of polysaccharide polymers or polypeptides. Now, dalawa po ang forms natin ng glycocalyx. So, that could serve as a capsule or it could serve, as a slime layer. So, parang ang capsule, guys, na-discuss ko na to last week, di ba? Para siyang mask. Right? So, ang capsule, it serves to protect bacteria against phagocytosis. So, it is firmly attached to your cell wall or to the bacterial cell wall. And similar to flagella, meron din po siyang antigenic property, which is the K antigen, or also known as the capsule antigen. Okay? And in comparison to the slime layer, etong slime layer, this is the slime layer in comparison to the capsule. Ang capsule firm. Right? Ito naman, loosely attached. But they have the same purpose. Pareha silang glycocalyx, pareho silang anti-phagocytic. Yun nga lang, in terms of the appearance, mas firm ang capsule, loose ang slime layer. But they have the same function, can be anti-phagocytic, can also help bacteria to attach to certain surfaces. Okay? So, hanggang dito lang po yung discussion natin for today kasi bacterial cell components lang naman tayo. So, next week, since meron tayong face-to-face, may quiz po tayo, no, na dalawa that will cover the introduction, the bacterial taxonomy, and the bacterial components. And then, tuloy pa rin yung lecture ng bacterial cultivation as an asynchronous class. Understood? So, ipopost ko na agad yung recorded discussion ng bacterial cultivation para mas maaga ninyong ma-review. Pero, hindi pa yun kasama sa quiz on Saturday. Malinaw po ba? Ipopost ko na yun sa bacterial cultivation para